The first step of any data analysis work is to locate a data source and to import it into your program. And we're going to use the pandas methods for reading data from data sources. But in order to demonstrate those, I need to actually get some data. And I'm going to start at kaggle.com. Just because it has a large collection of publicly available data sets in a variety of formats, and some of them are pretty interesting. So it pays to look around a little bit. So I'm on the datasets tab here on Kaggle, and they're classified in different areas. You can just browse from the home page. There's some trending datasets, and let's see, FIFA player ratings databases, and drinking water stuff, and some popular data sets. There's probably some good stuff here. Um, but I want to demonstrate the major different types of data. So um, I have some recently viewed data sets that I've looked at already. So let's go ahead and grab the OMSI Mental Health in Tech Survey. And there's a couple of different formats here. So I want to grab at least one CSV file. And let's see what we have here. So there's mental health in tech.csv, and it has these columns. So there's a are you self-employed column, which is true or false, or 0, 1. How many employees, numbers, your employer. I can scroll this a little bit and see what other columns there are. It's actually quite a lot of columns and different values. So let's go ahead and download this. I'm going to click the little download button, and that's going to give me a zip file in my download folder. So there's my notebooks folder where I currently have my Jupyter Labs parked. And here's my downloads folder. I'm going to go ahead and right click on mental health in tech, and I have 7-zip installed on my machine, but you can use anything that will extract a zip file. So I'm going to extract that to mentalhealthintech.csv, and then I'm sorted by date. So right here at the top, there's my folder, and here's my CSV file. So I'm going to copy this and paste a copy in my notebook folder so that it's easy to open from a notebook. And then that will be one data source that I use. And let's see what else we have. So other data sets that I looked at. This iris data set is a good example of a JSON file that's easy to use. That's JavaScript object notation. So I'm going to grab one of these. And this one has basically is used for classifying data about different species of irises. And each object here in this array of objects is an iris, and it includes some measurements about the flower itself, as well as the classification, the species of iris. And so I'm going to go ahead and download that. And for some reason it didn't download, it just displayed it in the browser. So I'm going to right click from here and save as. And then this iris data I'll save as iris.json, replace the existing one. And then in my downloads folder, I have, let's reload. I should have iris data in here somewhere. Maybe I downloaded it to my documents folder. Yeah, so I downloaded it to documents. So I'm going to copy that and paste that in my notebooks folder as well. So now I have a CSV file, a JSON file. Let's go back, back, back one more. Actually, forward. And let's look at all the recently viewed ones. So here's a SQLite database. San Francisco salaries for government employees. This has columns. Let's scroll down a little bit. So this has columns for employee name, job title, base pay, and 13 columns in total. Overtime pay, other pay, benefits, total pay benefits, year, notes, agency status. So there's some interesting data there that I could maybe do something with. And it's SQLite format, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this database.sqlite, and I'm going to download that. So that gives me database.sqlite. I already had it downloaded, so I got the second copy. Should be in the downloads folder. Yeah, so there it is. Let me go ahead and I actually already extracted this one. Right-clicked and extracted it into database.sqlite. So down here, here's my SQLite database, and I'm going to copy that, and I'll put that in my notebooks folder. And that should be enough to get started. So let's go ahead and go back to my Jupyter Notebook. Or Jupyter Lab, and I'm going to go ahead and create another notebook. So File, New, Notebook. And this is going to be a Python 3 IPyKernel select. And then let's right click it and rename the notebook to, call it import data.ipynotebook. And first one I'm going to do is this. Let's start with, actually, we already have one already. We had an example of reading data out of a database. So that was the first example. And I'm going to go ahead and create a markdown. And we'll go ahead and put a level 1 header, importing data. And Alt plus Enter. And then we'll do a level 2 header, markdown. And this will be from an MS SQL database, SQL Server database. Alt plus Enter. And then I'm going to get the connection information. Actually, let's do the imports. So I want to put the imports above there. So I'm going to go ahead and under the menu, and actually after import data, let's go ahead and add a cell here. So this is going to be my imports. And Alt plus Enter. And here's the actual code. So this one's a markdown. And then under kernel, actually under run, I'm going to run all cells. Okay. Um, so now for the MS SQL database, first we make a connection, and this actually works for any different kind of database. So um, first I make a connection, and here's the example code for that. And we'll run it and make a new cell, Alt plus Enter. And then to make the data frame, we say data frame equal pandas pd dot read SQL query, and then we give it a SQL query string to execute. So select, what are we going to do? Select name, year, and name count from all data, because we're in the names database, where name is Mark. And then order by year in ascending order, which is the default. So there's my query. And then you give it a connection to execute the query on. And that gives you a data frame. So I can display the data frame. And I have an error. I have a communication failure. Connection was closed. Execution failed on SQL. Let's try opening the connection again. And then let's try executing the statement. And it worked that time. So don't know exactly why that didn't work before, but it works now. So let's go ahead and add add another cell here for Markdown. And this one's going to be read the query as a level 3 header. And then let's go ahead and add another cell after that. So this will be a level 3 open a database connection. Should be Markdown. Okay, so that was the first method, fetching data out of a Microsoft SQL Server database.